Identity through Hooponopono. But recently, one came out for sure, which I read with a great pleasure and I really liked it. So the book called Blue Eyes, and it's not only one book, it's a series of books. And it was written by Ihaliakala Hulen and Kamali Lalii Rafailovich, and it was edited by Mominali Ramstrom. And here today, I'm with a great pleasure would like to introduce you, Momilani Ramstrom, the editor of the Blue Eyes book. Welcome, Momilani.
Thank you, Julia. I'm very pleased to be here today. Thank you for having me.
So let's start from the beginning. How did you learn about self-identity through Hooponopono?
Well, this is going back into 1983, and I was teaching a class on guitar, and one of my students, I stayed after the class and talked with her, and she told me about this process. And it sounded so great, and then she said, and you can do it too. And the next week I went down and took a lecture, and then Basic 1, and then the next weekend went and did Basic 2. That's how it was offered back in 1983. And then immediately I joined the staff. And so I started going to staff meetings every week. And every weekend, every Wednesday we would have a lecture. Thursday we would have a staff meeting. And then every weekend we would have a class. And I went to all of them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So did you find this knowledge, or, you know, did you get right away, or you had to wait for some time when it got into you? So it's like, did you accept it right away?
Yes, it was so clear. As soon as I heard my guitar student tell me about it, it sparked something in me that I didn't have to talk to people. I didn't have to do anything except be responsible and let go. And that I didn't have to confront. I was a very shy, quiet person, and the idea of having to talk to people what they did wrong or confront people about problems was not in my nature. So this was, immediately I felt this was home. And as soon as I went to the first lecture, it was even clearer. This is what I was going to do for the rest of my life. So it's very immediate.
And back then, Morna was teaching?
She actually didn't teach very often, and I was taught by Kamaili Lalii and two other teachers. We had 3 teachers at the same time, and my first class, I asked for the prayers, I am the I, and Peace of I, to be said in Hawaiian. And they said, oh, Morna will have to do that. And she wasn't in her office. She had an office to the side of where we had the class. And the following week, when I took the Basic 2, I asked again, can I hear the prayers in Hawaiian? And they said, oh, go ask Morna. She's in her office. So I met Morna very early on, but she wasn't teaching the class.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So since you're talking about the I am the I prayer in Hawaiian, would you mind to read it for us?
Oh, how beautiful. Wow, yes, I would love to. Oh, that's wonderful. I need to actually read it. You want to hear it in Hawaiian, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I need to go get my book. I'm not prepared. I'm so sorry. I'll be right back.
Sure.
It's such a beautiful thing to read this prayer. I love reading it.
I remember I was listening how you read it on the seminar. It's really, really inspiring. So I want everyone to hear that.
It is such a gift. This is a gift from divinity. And it's a cleaning tool. Just reading it or listening to it in any language, Russian, Hawaiian, English, it doesn't matter. And one of the beautiful things that happens at some of the classes is we have this prayer, which has been now translated into many languages, read in all the languages that the students are present. So I think the most was something like 32 different languages. It was read in one of the basic two. It was beautiful. So the vibration, energy of the prayer, as you say it, is a wonderful gift. Should I just read it in Hawaiian?
Yes, yes, please.
O wau no ka I, ua mai a mai ka poi loka o ka mā lama lama. O wau no ka haha, ka mauli ola. O wau no ka poho ke ka eli mawako a ua ne ike a pau. Ka I ke kino ihe na mea pau. Ka ai au I ku'upio o na anui nui mawako a ua na kaya pau. Ka ho'o mau mau o na mana o a me na mea pau. O wau no ka ho ni ka a. He huna kamatani mahi mahi. Ka hua huna o kumulika. O wau no ka I.
Thank you so much. It was really, really nice to hear it again.
Oh,
Well,
I did it. Thank you for asking.
well, Mamilani, tell us your story about becoming the editor for this book.
Well, I have a small publishing company, and I've published maybe now about 7 books that I'm also the author of, which is why I have this publishing company. And Kamaili Lali'i, she knew about it because I talk with her a lot. And as we were doing the MSKR radio programs, we were talking, and she, in meditation, said, it has to be you because of my experience long term with Hooponopono and my experience as an editor and as an author, that it had to be me. So she proposed that I become the editor of these books. And so we took the first 38 of the MSKR radio programs, and they're now it's up to
100 or even more. Yes.
Okay. So
that's a lot.
It was a while ago that we started doing this book project, and so I took those and I read them many, many times, and I cleaned with all of the different topics, and I organized it. And she said I was going to be kind of like the conductor. And so out of these 38 different radio programs, so each one's about an hour long, a little longer, I then started bringing material together to create these books. And so I would organize it in terms of topic, and it was focused on the questions and dialogues between Ihale Kala and Kamali Lali'i, and occasionally another guest or two, and of course with Keala being the host. And so as I started reading it and cleaning it, these books emerged, and I put together 7 different sections, and each one has a different focus. And then we published 2, and we're right at the cusp of the 3rd, but I have the other 4 that are based on this original materials ready to go. We're just bringing them out one at a time. So there's 7 for the first 38 radio programs. So once I get past these, then we'll start looking at some of the other ones. But yeah.
So I'm a big fan of MSKR shows, and when I listen, and one time I heard you saying about this book where you were talking with Kamali, and one of the things you said, I've been cleaning. Let me even find the phrase. I've been cleaning with each page, with each book, with the letters. Okay, tell us the secret. How did you do that? How to clean with all of that?
Well, it's actually very straightforward. It's just very tedious, and it's a daily process. Whatever I'm working on, projects, people, places, I clean with these things, and I sometimes, as I'm doing, there's a 12-step process as part of this, as well as more instant kinds of cleaning tools, things that are quicker, and sometimes foods that we eat But as I'm doing my process, I do this every morning and throughout the day. But as I do the morning process, I will sometimes read through the whole thing, or sometimes I will just page through the whole thing. And sometimes I'll talk to the book. I'll say, well, what do you want? How can I clean with you today? And so the book itself has an identity, has the three selves, the father, mother, and child. And so I'm cleaning so that the purpose of the book is fulfilled and that I'm not getting in the way. And so I'm cleaning with the book. I'm asking the book how it wants to be worked with, how I can work with it. So it's really about paying attention more than anything. That it's not any mysterious thing. It's just meticulously going through and paying attention to how I respond, my experience of it, and then cleaning with whatever comes up. So it always comes back to my memories. I'm always cleaning with my experience, my memories, what comes up as I'm reading, what comes up, what thoughts, what emotions, what I see, what I hear, and paying attention to all that and being willing to say, okay, whatever's coming up, it's a memory. I can be responsible for that and I can let it go. And as I've been willing to do that, whatever blocks, whatever issues that have come up in the course of doing this project, and there's many, as with any work project, that there's things that go smoothly and there's things that get held up, and I'm always coming back to, well, how is it I can clean with that, whatever it is, without judgment, without getting this kind of antagonizing relationship I have with the world sometimes, of blaming someone or getting upset that this isn't working, or someone who's not doing what they're supposed to be doing, but just keep coming back to me. Okay, this is my experience and I can clear with that. Trying to let go and to keep it light, not getting bogged down, especially when it seems like an overwhelming amount of work to do. Like that there's 100 FSKR radio programs.
Yeah.
But to keep cleaning and saying, okay, what's the next step? So I just want to step back.
Because it seems like each and every word that put in the, even though it doesn't look so big, the book itself is rich by the content, because like each and every sentence you can read and you can find each and every time something new, something rich in depth. I don't know. That's what I feel. Yeah.
Me too. And the books are right on my desk, but I often just open it up, and I created it when I was meditating. I created so that you could do it multiple access ways. You could either read through just a section, a chapter, or the boxes were meant to be just randomly open, and that's what you might get for that moment.
Yeah, those are the boxes that you created. Yeah. That's what it is.
So that you just get whatever you're supposed to get anytime you look at it. That's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. You've been working a lot with Kamalilalii and Ihaliakala. Could you please share your experience of working with these two wonderful people?
Well, it's been a very long time since I've been working with both of them. And so Morna used to tell us that the people closest to us, our family, the people we love, the people we work with, these are the people we have the most memories with. And so as all of us work together, it's not that things don't come up, but all of us are willing to get to the cleaning. So my experience is really beautiful because we have this sense of motion, ebb and flow that we're all very aware of, that we want to feel this divine stream that flows through, and to go with that rather than try to use our intellect and fight what we think is right. And it makes things very smooth working with that. So things come up and we clean and we just keep going. And any long-term relationship, that that's gotta happen, because there are moments where people have different points of view, and so we've come to recognize how to let that go and how to
Mhm.
just keep working. So it's been a beautiful.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And besides book, I think you're using the cleaning on daily basis with everything, right? So could you please share some kind of like when people are doing the self-identity through Ho'oponopono, still you have expectations, you want results. Those are the things that we really struggle with. So could you please share maybe some evident story of how it opens up for you during the cleaning, and something maybe it's a huge result for you.
Well, I think for me, because I've been doing this such a long time, I think the biggest understanding I've come to is how what maybe used to be sort of rocky mountains, you go up a steep slope and you tumble down into a valley. Things are a lot more smooth now, and it's not that I don't have ups and downs, but it's with this understanding that I'm on this journey. And so a big one is health issues, that we tend to think that our health is, I don't know, that it's very serious, that when we have a health challenge, that it's the most important thing, because either we're in pain or we have some label of some ailment that a doctor's put on us or we put on ourselves. So it gets very serious, and I've learned to pay attention to health things. So now I rarely get sick. And the last time I had a cold or a flu was maybe 5, 6 years ago, and before that it was maybe 10 years before that. And it's not that I'm that healthy. It's more that I recognize that it's my inhibitor that's running the body. And so when there's something that's not functioning, or there's some situation that I become aware of through maybe pain or some loss of function of some sort, then I start cleaning with that, and I immediately, it wakes me up. Say, okay, how can we let go? How can we be responsible? What's going on inside of me that's causing this to be as it is? And at that point, before it becomes so physically manifested, like, for example, noticing when you maybe have a heavy head rather than you have the flu and a headache and you can't move. So at that point where I notice some slight change in my state, I'll start talking to my intuitive and ask her, well, how can we clean this? What is it we can do? And sometimes it's something physical, like drink water, solar water. I do that a lot. Or it might be that I need to do a certain cleaning process, or it might be I need to clean with certain things that are going on in my life. And so it's in the paying attention to the subtle changes that I've noticed a huge shift. And some physical things have come up in my life with thyroid disorder and metabolism issues, that the doctor said, oh, you probably won't ever get rid of this. And specifically with hyperthyroid, I had an issue, and I just kept cleaning and cleaning, and maybe 5 years later, the whole problem just kind of closed down. And so now my metabolism is just normal. At one point, it was quite hyperthyroid. heart rate was really elevated, and thyroid hormone was elevated, and yeah, I just kept cleaning with it and cleaning with it. But it's a very tedious, slow process, and
Mm-hmm.
there's not sometimes this, oh, now I'm all cured. It's more like I keep cleaning and cleaning until I don't notice it. And then something else will come up. I'm never like, oh, no, I'm clean. It's just that problem isn't in my face. And so I'm trying to see, well, what's in my yard? What's in front of me that I need to work on? So trying not to get too distracted by putting my nose where I don't have any business putting it, and trying to help someone else when it's not my job to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And very aware that care of self, first, last, and always, is the most important thing. That everything around me is a reflection of what's inside of me. So if I'm noticing my daughter, my husband, my students, I teach full-time teaching music at a college. My students, if I notice them having some problem and I want to go help them and make them better and tell them what to do, that I come back to, well, what is it that's going inside of me that I notice that there's a problem? And that's ultimately how I can be responsible, is by saying whatever's out there is a reflection of what's inside.
Yeah, that's always nice to remind yourself, because your mind can just lead you far away, far away, and you forget.
I do every day. I mean, I've been doing this 34 years now, and I still forget. I still get caught and get upset with people, and if they would just fix that, I still blame people. And then, which doesn't help. It doesn't help them or doesn't help me. And so I can look back and go, okay, let's get the thing. And keep coming back.
On one of the radio shows that you've recorded with Ihaliakala and Kamali, there was a sentence that Ihaliakala said, "This book can clean." So it's what, for those people who just started to follow Hooponopono, to trying tools on themselves. Could you please explain how the book can clean?
Well, the book, it's a beautiful gift that we have this book that has an identity, and its identity is to help bring us home. And so by being willing to open the book, read the book, put the book on our desk or our bed, the book's purpose is to clean. And so by allowing the book to fulfill its purpose, we have that gift of the cleaning. So all we have to do is be willing to say, here's something that I'm willing to be a part of. And you have your book.
Well,
and
yeah, I would like just to add that this book is really cleaning, because sometimes when I have a problem and it's really, I can't mentally sometimes to use the tools. So for example, I'm talking to people or I'm distracted, but this book is really helpful, because sometimes I'm write down some issue that I have and I put into this book. And you know what? I noticed that, as you said, I don't really pay attention to that anymore. It's not bugging me anymore. It just, this energy is gone, and I don't really care. It's like, I don't know whether it's cleaned or not completely, but still, it's resolved. To me, it's resolved. I don't care anymore. That's what I experienced with this book.
That's beautiful. Yeah, exactly. Me too. That if we can let go of that need to intellectually figure it out and pin it down, to say, okay, all I really want is peace. I want to be in my right place and time. I want to speak with divine inspiration. I want to be inspired, and let the rest go. and I'm so attached to being intellectual, and my whole life has been one long intellectual process of garbage in and garbage coming out of me, that I'm willing to give some of that up a little bit, just a little bit, and talk less. I would talk less. And yeah, it's beautiful, your experience of working with the book. That's part of the letting go, is you write
Yeah.
and you're giving it to divinity, saying, I don't know. I don't know what's right. I don't know what I did, and I don't have to know. I don't have to know if I have let go. I don't have to know what the process is. I just have to be willing to say, thank you, I love you, and I let this go. If the only feeling, the child within us, is feeling nurtured and loved, then that part of us is the part that holds on. That part of us saying, okay, yeah, I can let go.
Yeah.
That's
And a lot more about Unihipili you can learn by reading the book, because a lot of interesting things, amazing things about the child you can find in both books. I've read only 2 because only 2 came out, so we're just all excited and waiting for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
We're gonna get it out there. Good. We're working on it. I'll call Kalani when we hang up, and I'm gonna talk to her. Yeah, we're working on that. We're working very hard.
Yeah. Everything comes on divine time.
Well, we get in the way. I get in the way an awful lot. So I'm cleaning with that to get out of the way so the books can do what they want to do.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Mamilani, for this interview about this wonderful book, Blue Eyes. Again, those books you can purchase on websites, and you will find those websites down below the video. And thank you so much, Mamilani. And since we started with the Hawaiian prayer, could you please close with the Hawaiian prayer?
Oh, good idea. I love it. And Gui, it's beautiful to see you, and I love you, and thank you for hosting and all the wonderful work you do. I'm very grateful that you are.
Thank you, Mamilani. I love you too.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Kamaluhia Okai. Okamaluhia no meoe. Ku'u maluhia o paloa. Kamaluhia Okai. Ova no kamaluhia. Kamaluhia no nava pau. No ke ia ava mau loa aku. Ave aku vau I ku'u maluhia e oe. Aho aku vau I ku'u maluhia me oe. Aole kamaluhia o ka ao aka. Ai maluhia vale no. Maluhia o ka.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Aloha.